Hello, welcome. We'll be starting in a minute or so as we get everyone into the room, from the waiting room into the Zoom. While we're waiting, if you could just put in the chat your name, affiliation, if you have one, and where you are located.
Well, my name is Hadley Likens, and I am located in Kansas, close to Kansas City. I'm not particularly a part of an organization. It's just me, and I'm hoping to incorporate this into Miss America,
Oh,
as
great.
I'll be competing for Miss Kansas.
Oh, well, thank you, Hadley. Um, All right, let's see. We're going to keep, well, we're going to go ahead for those who have joined us. If you can put in chat, we had over 100 people register for this. I don't think we'll have over 100 people show up, but it'll be important for everyone to keep themselves on mute. If you aren't, just so we don't have background noise. But again, in chat, name, if you have an affiliation, where you're located. Great. So welcome to the US Kickoff Information Session for Global Intergenerational Week 2024. You'll see that Global Intergenerational Week is April 24th to the 30th. My name's Sherry Steinig. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Communications at Generations United, and I'm joined today by our US co-lead, Chelsea Mason, who's the Director of External Relations at the Eisner Foundation. And we're really excited to have so many people interested in joining us here today. Today, we're going to provide an overview of Global Intergenerational Week, go over the plans that and the themes for 2024, and then we'll have time for questions and brainstorm ways that you can get involved. Just a reminder for folks to make sure that they stay on mute if you're not muted, to mute yourself, because we again may have we'll have quite a few people here today. So Global Intergenerational Week 2024. So this effort began 3 years ago at Generations Working Together, and I think I saw Allison Clyde, who's the Executive Director of Generations Working Together in Scotland. So, and if you attended our Generations United conference last year, you may have met Allison, who traveled all the way from Scotland to DC for the conference. Generations Working Together, it's an intergenerational training and advocacy organization with strong connections to intergenerational leaders across the UK. And in the years that they've been helming Global Intergenerational Week, they've expanded their reach to over 15 countries, including Australia, Singapore, Mexico, Israel, Uruguay, Sweden, and many others, to make Global Intergenerational Week a truly intergenerational celebration. Goals of the week are to raise awareness of the benefits of intergenerational connections and intergenerational programs, to advocate for policies that support intergenerational programs, and then to foster international connections among intergenerational practitioners. So some of the past successes that we've seen, the event has grown rapidly in just the 3 years, from 4 countries in 2021 to 14 last year, more than 500 registered supporter organizations, and 1,300 events in 2023. In the US, we had last year 60 registered supporters and dozens of official events during the week. So our list of registered supporters has already grown. It's now over 100, and everyone who registered for this webinar, if they haven't yet been part of, sort of registered as a US supporter, we will include you. So it's growing, momentum is growing, and we're very excited about future plans. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chelsea, who will talk about what some of those future plans are.
Hi, everyone. So this year, our efforts are going to be similar as years past, but scaled up with your help. As Sherry noted, we're already well on our way to maybe even doubling the number of supporters we had last year. So thank you all so much for your interest. So here are some ways that you can get involved. And before we start getting into these, I will mention that every detail we are about to share will be included in the supporters pack that Generations Working Together has assembled and will be sent to you after this session. But we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of these a bit more in depth and focus more on an American audience. So first of all, you can participate in the photo diary project. Anyone can post a photo diary entry on their social media beginning 4 weeks before Global Intergenerational Week. This is to build momentum and interest before the week officially begins, and more information on this will be in the supporters pack. On social media, make sure to use hashtag GIW24 all week long. There are themes for each day that you can use for inspiration, or you can simply post about your work. Mix and mingles. This is what we're calling any in-person or virtual intergenerational event happening during the week. And this can include anything you already have planned, anything you regularly do, or anything special that you have planned for this particular week. It can count as a mix and mingle. So you can leverage your existing plans and let us know what you're up to. And this way we can create a master list of mix and mingles and show the breadth of intergenerational activities happening across the US and the world. This also helps us track how widely the week is being celebrated. And we'll have more information toward the end on how you can register that. Generations Working Together does have a space on their site where you can register it, but it is a little UK centric. So if you want to, shoot it directly to us, we'll have information on how to do that at the end of this presentation, and we can compile things and send that on your behalf. You can also reach out to public officials to increase their awareness of intergenerational programs generally and your work specifically. This is a recommended action globally, but we do know that this is easier for some organizations than others, especially depending on geography. But if you're interested in advocacy and raising your profile with public officials, you can definitely use this week as an opportunity to reach out to your local, state, or even national elected leaders. And then finally, consider collaborating. Whether you host a joint event or coordinate on a social media campaign, this is a great opportunity to create new connections and amplify intergenerational programs overall. So we'll just touch on these a little more quickly. So here are the daily themes that you can use on social media if you choose. All of these graphics will be available in the social media toolkit that we'll send to all our USA supporters. As you can see here, on day 1, the theme is Let's Raise Intergenerational Awareness. Day 2 is Let's Develop Intergenerational Partnerships. Day 3 is Let's Combat Loneliness and Social Isolation. Day 4 is Let's Celebrate Intergenerational Spaces and Communities. Day 5 is Let's Break Down Age Barriers. Day 6 is actually the EU Day of Solidarity between generations, if you want to jump on that. And finally, day 7 is Let's Build Intergenerational Workplaces. So again, all of these graphics, if you'd like to use them, will be available in the supporters pack. You're welcome to post about these themes on those specific days if you need a little inspiration, or you can just post about anything you're up to that day and highlight your work.
Chelsea, we'll just say, I think we last year revised the dates a little bit to reflect how the US shows
Yes.
months and dates versus the rest of the world. So.
Yes, absolutely. We'll get those for you as well. All right. From here, mix and mingles. Again, this is any intergenerational opportunity happening during the week. So here are some pictures from last year. We have Engage hosting an intergenerational dance party. LA Works hosted a volunteer event, and One Generation has a play session during their regularly scheduled intergenerational activities. Almost anything can count here. So you can create an in-person or virtual event for the week, or just give your existing programming a global boost by including it in our US list of mix and mingles. This is also a great opportunity for collaboration and social media content. And so in the UK, country leads are building using building light ups, there we go, as an opportunity to reach out to their elected officials and build awareness of intergenerational work. While this can be a bit more challenging to do in the US, particularly in larger cities, those of you in smaller areas might be interested in pursuing this. So on the slide, you can see a couple light ups in hot pink, magenta, at a couple locations throughout the UK. All right, so finally, if you're ready to get started, make sure you're registered as a supporter to stay up to date on everything going on across the world. As Sherry said, by registering for today's webinar, we'll go ahead and add you to our list so that you can stay updated on everything going on, and also get the supporters pack and the social media toolkit emailed to you in the weeks to come. As your mix and mingle events come together, you can email them to me, chelsea.mason@eisnerfoundation.org, and we'll compile them into a comprehensive list that we'll share with generations working together. They will put them up on the Global Intergenerational Week page, and so we can have a really nice showing of all the fantastic things happening in the US. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry, who will let us know if we have any questions.
And I know, Allison, it's late it's late where you're joining from. I wanted to also give you an opportunity if there was anything you wanted to share from Generations Working Together perspective. You don't have to, but if you want to, feel free to just hop in. Hello.
Yep. Hi, can you hear me? I can't for some reason manage to get my video to turn on. But yeah, thanks very much for saying hello. I'm just here to just be excited with you. We launched the UK, Europe, across Australia yesterday morning. We launched, so we were really, really excited. It's quite interesting to hear some of the UK things that we haven't really thought about that we need to maybe change for you guys over in America. But you have so much learning. And I think yesterday what was really interesting was we heard from Australia, New Zealand and Singapore, and they're going to be doing webinars together. So there'll be some cross-country information that'll be going up, and there'll be lots of online events taking place over the week. And I think don't worry if you're in a different timeline, because everything will be recorded and we'll put it back up on the websites. You'll have links from your website and Generations United over to the GWT. But one thing that I said at the end of our launch yesterday, I attended a loneliness meeting. This might be different in the US, but certainly this was down in England, loneliness, and there was about 300 people there, and intergenerational work was mentioned about once throughout the whole day, and there must have been an army of presenters. And I was so shocked, and I went on to the collaboration hub and I put a few things up about intergenerational work, and I got a question back to say I had mentioned Global IG Week, saying that one of the days was around loneliness and isolation, and hoped that people would get involved. And they came back and they asked why we chose loneliness and isolation as one of our days, one of our themes for intergenerational work. And I was kind of stuck by that response, thinking, what do people not realize that loneliness is a way of addressing, intergenerational work is a way of addressing loneliness. And we had conversation with various different people. And I think sometimes we think that when we talk about intergenerational work, everybody knows what we're talking about, but not everybody does understand what intergenerational work is, and doesn't understand the full impact, the fact that we're trying to change intergenerational work from being just a nice, lovely thing to do to being an essential part of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So I think Global IG Week gives people on the ground, to strategic leaders, an opportunity to come and actually share what's happening with their projects, and to shine and to celebrate the work that you're doing, and really celebrate the impact that you're actually doing as well. So I think, and I think the fact that we have about 15 countries, but I think last year we had 28 countries in total. And this year we've just had meetings with the World Health Organization and Help Age International, and they're going to be getting involved. They'll be supporting the campaign across the world, and they'll be taking part in some webinars. So there'll be lots more to come out, and we'll share that with everybody in the US as well. So yeah, good luck. I'm really excited to hear, and thanks very much for giving me 2 minutes, or maybe 5. Thank you.
Allison, and you may still be able to respond or even put in chat. We had a question about the suggested color for the bridge building light up, and is it sort of the pink magenta color that we're asking to do, you know, across the country or across the world?
Yeah, I think that's really up to yourselves.
Okay.
Ours is, the pink is because it's part of the logo and the Northern Ireland logo, and it was Northern Ireland last year that started this campaign, and it really just captured a lot of people to say, you know, to give people opportunities to celebrate. So I think pink magenta doesn't really matter. If the US want to have their own color, doesn't matter, but I just think it's an opportunity to shout a wee bit louder and get people wider to find out what we're doing. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Any other, I mean, again, this is an opportunity for folks to know if you want to raise your hand, if you have questions, if you have ideas. We also are interested in sort of considering this like sort of regional approach. Are there ways that folks can regionally get together? You know, Chelsea mentioned sort of the local, you know, how we can collaborate, you know, in your local community with other intergenerational enthusiasts, experts, program people, and look at those, or even, you know, there's a number of groups that are doing statewide or local work, but just being able to think about ways that we can sort of, again, like Allison was saying, like, you know, really lift the message and the value of intergenerational relationships, and using our own bandwidth and that of our collaborators. So I'm trying to look to see, I didn't see any other questions in chat. I know we've kind of thrown a lot of information out at folks, so feel free to, you know, put your question in chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, raise your hand. Oh, Allison.
Yeah, I had another question. I think for Global IG Week, we're always really keen to hear from different types of projects that are looking to address different challenges in the community. And we talk about 10 different themes of intergenerational work here in Scotland. But climate is a big issue across the whole of the world, and it's something that there's lots of gardening, there's cooking programs, but it's an area that I think we could do more on, and we could shout about more, and we could get more intergenerational work within the area of climate. So housing as well is something that we're really keen to see on. But I think if anybody has anything that's quite unique, I think this is a great opportunity to shine and share.
Absolutely. Oh, I see a hand physically raised, John. So.
Sorry, I'm not better at figuring out the details.
It's okay, it works.
But it worked. It worked. Thank you. I just listening to Allison, it's interesting. I'm just going to put in a plug on our new book on multi-generational living. And there's a section on how things are done in other countries. The title of the book is Under One Roof, Creating Harmony for Multi-Generational Living. And it's just out this week. I have a couple of kids' books in that genre as well. And anyway, I just wanted to thank you for doing all this and put in that little plug. And there's a great story in the book about Ireland and the shortage of grandparents there, at least in my generation. And so there's a story about creating a family that created a grandparent. So they had intergenerational interaction in that way. I'm done. Thanks.
That's great. Thank you. And someone else put in, Cynthia put in the chat about digital equity is also a space where intergenerational interventions are successful. And there's a lot of that already happening in the US. So that's a great example.
We'll just give a
Hadley.
shout out to Cynthia in the chat for putting that there. Cynthia is one of our Eisner Prize Fellows in the current cohort. And I think I saw Kenna on here too, one of our other fellows. So hi, thanks for coming.
Great. I think Hadley, you had your hand up. So yeah.
Yes. So I noticed a lot of the intergenerational work that I've looked at is directly related to kinship. However, what about, like, I'm unsure how to implement this in my area, but how do I get younger folks interested in spending time with those that live in retirement centers and assisted living and things like that?
That's great. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks that are on the call who can talk about some of those examples. You know, at Generations United, we do have work around kinship and grand families, but then a lot of the other work is sort of with non-related, exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but you know, one of the programs that does engage younger people volunteering or connecting with retirement communities or senior centers. Is there anyone want to talk about their work?
You can also drop it in the chat if that makes more sense to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, you know, there's a lot of great initiatives around the country that are doing exactly what you're interested in doing, and often looking at if there are certain, you know, you can start with like service clubs, 4-H, types of organizations that might have a group of youth that would be interested in learning more about older adults and building those types of connections, connecting with an activity director or someone in a senior living community or a senior center that would be able to sort of make those connections and think about ways to do interactions. There's lots of programs that already have, like it may be a community center that has a senior center and a child development center that are already there, a Head Start program, and there might be ways to help coordinate and facilitate nearby or neighboring programs to do sort of activities. I can put in the chat and Hadley, I gave you my email address. We have resources available on our website that talk all about like how to develop activities and how to get started and how to assess, as well as Generations Working Together has a lot of resources also that can be helpful to getting started.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? There's some good stuff coming in through the chat.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi,
Victoria?
it's
Hi, Victoria.
from Arizona. I am actually driving, so I can't do the chat. But I wanted to say, as far as engaging younger children, I found that the ones that are with their grandparents or being raised by their grandparents have a totally different outlook on the senior citizens, because they're living with their grandparents or, you know, grandpa, grandma, and they see what they ordinarily would not see. So sometimes it's a little harder to get the younger adults to get involved, because they don't really see the need as much as a child that was raised by their grandparent.
Thank you, Victoria. That's a great idea. Is it okay? I'm probably not going to pronounce your name correctly.
Tila. I'll say
Tila.
it.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm just sort of joining today as a member of this great community. I'm actually a member of a intergenerational choir that the Eisner Foundation supports here in Los Angeles. Started learning more about intergenerational work through just a volunteer participant in that choir. And my real-time, full-time job is I work for a opera company here in Los Angeles, small opera company. I just started to realize through my participation in the choir that I'm in that how classical music spaces and opera spaces are a very organic way to create intergenerational connection. Of course, our aging populations are so passionate about historical art and music, and so we see those spaces in our spaces a lot. On the other side, children are very open-minded to classical music and instrumental music, having heard so much of it as infants and babies when they're first getting exposure to learning through music. And so I'm just trying to become more active in everything that you all are doing. And so wanted to jump on this call and learn more and see what my opera company can do more for this week to build awareness about how theater spaces are such a great way to build stronger intergenerational relationships with people, whether it's like a neighbor might want to bring the family next door to an opera that they like or something like that. So really excited to learn more and wanted to share from the art side of how this has been effective for us. I will say it's the folks in the middle that we have the hardest time reaching. So young adults, older adults, early retirees, and like college age young adults, those are the people that we lack in our industry. So that's who we try to target to, again, if grandma and grandpa want to bring a young kid to the opera, let's just bring the whole family and do some networking and relationship building there. So just wanted to chime in. Thanks for letting me join today.
Great, thank you for joining us and elevating the arts. So we know that's, yeah. Any other questions or comments or ideas? Okay, I know we had scheduled this for an hour, but we didn't foresee taking all that time. As we mentioned, we will, Chelsea, or Chelsea Rhodes. I was gonna say my Chelsea.
Other Chelsea.
Sorry, I just wanted to pop in. I didn't want to take too much time, but I had an idea for Hadley potentially because I work for Generations United now, but I also did a lot of service in like living communities and things like that when I was in high school and kind of struggled with the same thing and like getting started and getting a group. And so I'm not sure if you're in college or high school, but I think just getting started and talking about your experience and how like you have a lot of joy in working with the older adults and interacting with them and just sharing that personal experience that you find it really valuable and making those connections and that I learned so much from the older adults that I spoke to. And so just kind of I think just kind of start with your friends um and think about like other groups like a National Honor Society or a service group that maybe is already existing but doesn't do that particular service work, but they may be open to it. And so just as a fellow young adult, I know it's kind of overwhelming to like think that you have to start your own program by yourself. And so I think it also can be incorporated in a lot of other work and elevating that. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great, and some other great resources being shared in chat. Allison.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in as well and say that if you have any new ideas that could be added to the programme in future campaigns, like the Mix and Mingle or the Photo Diary, then we would love to hear. I was just looking back from yesterday, and Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong and Singapore are having a dance off thing. In Mexico, they're doing ambassador awards. Mexico and Uruguay and Spain are doing ambassador awards, and Singapore are also doing a dating concept activity where they're introducing younger, obviously it's not a dating, it's not like you're going to meet somebody that you're going to date, but it's a way of getting to meet a younger and an older person. So when I was listening to all these yesterday, I was thinking, God, these could be phenomenal ideas to go around the world. So please do share. And if there is things that you think that we should add, then we would love to hear from you.
Thanks. Chelsea, Rhodes.
So Allison, it's
Whoops, you're muted again. Oh.
oopsies, sorry. One idea maybe for next year or in future years, I thought I think the activity, the mix and mingles are great. But I was thinking, I don't know if we had some kind of like social media thing about, and maybe some countries already do this, but including part of Intergenerational Week, just like having people share about their intergenerational like relationships, and being able to like just like share about those and encouraging that, and like a post on social media of or it's like grab lunch with yeah, your like older adult friend or something like that and just share about it. Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's already existing or not.
Yeah, there's definitely a strong social media component to the Global Intergenerational Week because it is global. And we are trying to, that's one platform that we can all sort of join and connect on. Or platform.
Maybe on like the day of like social isolation, we could like share about your friends, your intergenerational friends. But
it's a great idea, Chelsea. Thank you.
And again, like, we would love, like Allison said, to share with us what you're doing, what you might like to do, what we know that we have about, you probably know, Allison, how many weeks until the end of April. But we're 2 months out. There's still opportunities for new ideas, but again, just also sharing and elevating what you're already doing, and tagging Global Intergenerational Week that week, because there's going to be people that have already, you do things every day, multiple times a day. So we're just going to make sure that we're elevating the message. Is there, I think we're going to try to wrap this up. We are recording, so if anyone had to jump in late or had to leave early, we'll make sure that we get the recording out to everyone who registered. And there'll be supporter packs and information that'll continually be coming out for you. But again, we see this as a dialogue, so make sure that you're sharing back with us what your plans are, or if other questions come up. It's an exciting opportunity for us in the US as well as around the world to be part of this campaign. So Chelsea, did you have anything? Chelsea Mason, the other Chelsea.
This was a thing at the GU conference too, wasn't it? No, just thank you all so much for your interest and for coming. It seems like there are some really good connections already being made in the chat. So thank you all for your interest, for participating, and for just helping elevate intergenerational programs, connections. As we know, it's so critical in our world today to try to come together rather than divide and stay apart in our cliques and age cohorts, and this can really become an even bigger movement than it already is with your help. So thank you so much for your participation, and look for more information from us in the coming weeks.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Allison, for coming so late. I know it's late your time, so. I'm going to end the meeting. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.